Today we begin the fourth theme of Yuan Hongbing's Apricot Altar. The title of the fourth theme is that Oriental philosophers analyze the great confusion of contemporary human beings. So the first lecture on this topic is about the value goal of genetic engineering to create a new human pursuit. God, emerging from the spirit of Western religion, has the authority to create and destroy the world and human destiny. Now, the contemporary scientific reason, based on the natural reason of ancient Greece and sublimated, seems to replace God and obtain the authority to create the world and human destiny, as well as to destroy the world and human destiny. Contemporary scientific reason not only takes the will to pursue material greed and instinctive pleasure as the original motive force of historical development, but also creates the contemporary way of life, the basis of which, or the basic motive force of this way of life, the original motive force, is the pursuit of material greed and instinctive pleasure. Then, because of the creation of the contemporary human lifestyle, scientific rationality has naturally become the king of the value of the times. In a considerable sense, scientific reason has replaced the soul and become the king of value in contemporary human society. Scientific reason has the energy to create and destroy the world. So this phenomenon seems to show that human beings are gaining the authority of God with the help of scientific reason. When it comes to destroying the world, the first thing people will think of is nuclear war. Indeed, according to the analysis of the current international political situation and the world ambition shown by the global expansion of centralism of the Communist Party of China, we can say that the outbreak of nuclear war and self-destruction in a nuclear war seems to be an event of great probability. This question will be dealt with specifically in the next few lectures on this subject. But now, it turns out, especially after the outbreak of the Wuhan plague, people have hit another alarm bell. That is, what may destroy the world is not only nuclear war but also biological war. The Great Plague of Wuhan in 2020 has ravaged the whole world and poisoned mankind more than now. This incident has told people that the rational energy of natural science that mankind has mastered to create new forms of life is becoming the energy to destroy the world. Although the Communist Party of China's tyranny has hidden the true information with the Iron Curtain of heavy lies, there are more and more clues and signs that the origin of the Wuhan plague, or the Wuhan virus, is an important item in the whole biological warfare strategy of the Communist Party of China's tyranny. So, the Wuhan virus was leaked for some unknown reason, so at the beginning of the virus leak, Xi Jinping was either out of stupidity and arrogance, or out of an attempt to cover up the truth, or to poison the world, regardless of the reason. In short, it did not take effective measures in time. In the initial stage, control and prevent the spread of the Wuhan virus in the world. Its actual result is that the Communist Party of China's tyranny has launched biological warfare with the Wuhan virus as a weapon, completely disrupting the rhythm of human life. This incident, shows that today, with the development of scientific rationality, the creation of new forms of life through genetic engineering is not just an ideal, it is realistic energy, and the creation of the so-called new human race is obviously also a cause that is being planned, but I don't know whether this cause belongs to the devil or God in the end. I don't know whether this cause will eventually bring blessings or curses to mankind. I emphasize again here that scientific rationality is no longer satisfied with making people's lives healthier and longer through genetic engineering. Not only that, through genetic engineering to create a so-called new human, is a planned cause, but do not know whether this cause belongs to God's cause, or belongs to the devil's cause. As far as my personal life experience is concerned, what I have learned is that the value pursuit of creating new human beings through genetic engineering is mainly manifested in two aspects. One is the value pursuit of medical or military pragmatism, the other is the pursuit of racial superiority, which is alienated from the sense of racial inferiority. These are two different value pursuits. Let's talk about the first one, that is, the value pursuit of pragmatism. At that time, Mr. Zhang Tianrong, director of the Party History Teaching and Research Department of the National Defense University, and some other military friends, had a gathering, when we were compiling the Dictionary of the Cultural Revolution. Zhang Tianrong was the editor-in-chief of the Dictionary of the Cultural Revolution, and I was the legal advisor of the dictionary at that time. Mr. Zhang Tianrong later became the dean and vice president of the Nanjing Political College of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. So when we had a gathering together, at one gathering, Zhang Tianrong talked about the idea of creating a new human race through genetic engineering. He specifically put forward two ideas. He said that his ideas were some value pursuits after discussing with medical workers and medical researchers in the army. The first is that he believes that a group of gene people who specialize in providing organ transplants for human beings can be created through genetic engineering, so gene people have no sense of pain and no consciousness, but other aspects are the same as normal people, so why did he put forward such an idea? It is because Zhang Tianrong, there is a comrade in arms in kidney transplantation. He was personally involved in the matter. He said that at that time, in order to transplant the organ was taken from a death row prisoner. When executing the death row prisoner, the first hit was not the heart, but the cervical vertebra. After breaking the cervical vertebrae, the heart can still keep beating for a period of time, so we can use this window of time to take out the kidney from the body of the executed prisoner, which is equivalent to taking out the kidney from the living body, directly transporting it to the hospital, and transplanting it to his comrades in arms. He said that after witnessing the process, he thought it was too cruel, so he thought that a new type of genetic person should be created as a source of human organ transplantation. At that time, I said that you raised such a group of humanoid genetic people like pigs, don't you think it's cruel? I remember Zhang Tianrong's answer very clearly. He said that science is the cold storage, science only pays attention to practicality, as long as this method can be effective in saving human life, it is essentially benevolent, this is the first pursuit of the value of gene man. The second military pragmatism put forward by Zhang Tianrong at that time deserves our vigilance today. Zhang Tianrong said that the Medical Research Department of the Communist Party of China had already set up a project, which was to clone a group of the strongest people and the most agile people through genetic engineering and cloning technology, and at the same time they had no pain, and their IQ was controlled at the level of human children aged 5 to 6. Carry out strategic strike missions. At that time, such an assumption, a feeling immediately emerged in my heart, that is, if such an assumption is really realized, if such a group of so-called warriors, so-called special teams like walking corpses are really created, then the concept of warriors, will be trampled and insulted by human beings themselves. Now that nearly 30 years have passed, whether the research project of the Communist Party of China's army has been successful or not deserves our close attention. Because in the process of Xi Jinping's global expansion of totalitarianism, if he launches a war on the Taiwan Strait, if their research on this project is successful, he will certainly use the results of this project. This is the first pragmatic value pursuit that I have personally learned from my life experience about creating new life through genetic engineering. So the second value pursuit of creating new human beings through genetic engineering, that is, the alienation of racial superiority theory from the extreme inferiority of racial inferiority, becomes the second value pursuit of creating new human beings through genetic engineering. The second kind of value pursuit is an ideal that Xi Jinping and I personally described when we were drinking friends in the 1980s and the late 1980s. So what is the content of this ideal, this variation of racial superiority arising from racial inferiority? We will introduce it in the next lecture.